I've done a lot of videos on this channel setting up new tanks. I've done this one here behind me, my other 240, my 360. I've set up a lot of tanks on this channel. And if you look around YouTube, there's a lot of people that do setup videos of brand new tanks, but they're usually dream tanks or new monster tanks or something like that. What about something that is more entry level? What about the new fish keeper that's just getting into this and wants to see something that's a little bit more relatable to them, something that they could be setting up as their first tank? Well, that's where something like this comes in. This is a kit from Imagitarium. I think that's how you say it. I'm not 100% sure, but this is a brand that is exclusive to Petco, and it is a kit that comes with everything that you would need to get started. It's not a starter kit. It's not labeled as a starter kit, but it comes with everything that starter kits come with. So this is a great option for a brand new fish keeper. At least I think it is. I don't know. I haven't even opened up the box yet, but just looking at it, it looks to me to be something that would be great for new fish keepers. So in this video, I am going to unbox this thing. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to decorate it with an aquascape. Yeah, John is going to aquascape. And then once it's all set up and running right here on my desk, which is not going to be its permanent home, but once I get to the end of that, I will go through with you the things I really like about this, the things that I don't like about it, and then you can use that to make your decision as to whether or not you want to try this particular kit for yourself. So yeah, I'm excited. I've had this for a couple of weeks now. It's been collecting dust. It's time to do it. So yep, let's go. Okay, before we get this opened up and get this project started, I wanted to make you aware this is not, and I repeat, not a sponsored video. This is something I went down to my local Petco and picked up a couple of weeks ago. In fact, here is the receipt. I'm not going to show it to you too close because I don't know if there's private information on here or anything like that, but this is the receipt for this Imagitarium 6.8 gallon office tank, $79.99 with tax. It was $84.23. I'll put that up to the camera. Why not? It's not going to focus. Who cares? But yes, I paid for this. So this is not something that Petco is, paying me for or anything like that. I want to do videos like this moving forward because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to show things that you might be interested in, and maybe it'll help you make your decision as to whether or not you want to get them. Sorry about that bang. I'm still getting used to wearing a wedding ring, and I bang it on tables all the time. I don't mean to do that. But so this should be everything that you need to get started. I'm not in the most ideal position to unbox this thing sitting down. Okay, there we go. So there's instructions in here. I don't need to mess with instructions. What do I need those for? We're going to have some fun here. We're going to figure it out on our own. So before I start to go through what everything is, I want to give you an idea of what's going on here. So you have, this is an all-in-one tank, which basically means everything is in the unit. There's not a, sorry, wedding ring. There's not a filter hanging off the back or anything like that. If you look at, this is the back of it, you see the filtration that's back here. That's actually really, really cool. It's part of the interior of the tank. Some people might look at that as a negative because they say, well, that takes up a lot of space inside the tank. And those people would be right. It's true, it does. But the cool thing is this can go on something that's not as deep, something like a bookshelf. I don't know. Let me grab my tape measure. Okay, bookshelves are typically 12 inches, and I know that because I used to build them for a living. This is 12 inches in size. Now, if you're somebody that is one of my friends overseas, I'm sorry, I don't know what that converts to in centimeters. That is one of the #1 questions that gets asked on this channel. Whenever I say gallons or inches or feet, people are like, what is that in whatever? I don't know, Google it, that's what I would do. But anyway, so this is 12 inches wedding ring banging. You could put this on a bookshelf. If you had a large hang on the back filter hanging off the back, that would hamper you from doing that. If you're gonna do that though, please make sure it's solid. It's not sitting on little IKEA pegs that are gonna fall through. If you have this kind of weight on it, be careful putting it on a bookshelf. But my point is, because this is designed the way it is with the filtration inside the unit, it doesn't take up as much of a footprint on whatever piece of furniture you're gonna use it for. So that is cool. I look at that as a plus, but others might not. Now to start going through the contents of what we have here, first is this. We're gonna figure out where that goes in a minute. That was stuck in the back. There's also, let me show you, there's a couple of cartridges in here, which is pretty clever. This filtration, I like it. It comes in on each side, which is cool. And you've got a cartridge on each side. They're different cartridges. This one has what looks to be biomedia in it, little ceramic balls. And then this one has carbon in it. Say what you want to say about carbon. I don't care what you say about carbon. I am a carbon user. I think it's fine. And, didn't get it in there. There's little grooves. I'll show them close up later on. But there's little grooves where those cartridges slide in. And I would imagine you can purchase those at Petco. There is also, this is not the easiest thing to get to, but there's also sponges that are in here. Now, I'm somebody that likes to buy the foam that you can cut to size on your own. And this, you could do that. It's like a little triangle shape. You could cut this on your own, I suppose, if you're like me and you like to do that just because it's a few cents cheaper. So you can do that with this. So that's cool. Basically what we have here, I'm gonna grab one of the cameras and show it in more detail when we get it put together, but it's a pretty intricate little maze that the water goes through before it gets down into the sump. So that's pretty cool the way they have that. Let's open up these boxes and see what we've got going on in here. I would imagine this big one is what houses the light, and I would be right. We'll put this light on there. If I decide to keep this tank, you know what I'm gonna put on there. I'm gonna put on one of my Hygger lights or one of the Luma lights, I don't know. But hey, I like the little touch buttons on the top. That's very cool. There's one of the little symbols on there for a touch button. That's cool. Lots of LEDs on it. So I would imagine this thing is gonna be pretty daggone bright. So yeah, cool. And that's all we got in this one, except for this. Yep, that's gonna be the clip for the light. See, you don't need instructions. Just figure it out. It's not a big deal. That's a cool little light. I do like desk clip-on lights. In fact, I have some of the older, they're not older, you can still buy them at Petco now or PetSmart or anywhere. The clip-on desktop lights for whatever. I don't know. There's actually one sitting right there behind you. If you want to reach back and grab it, we can show the rest of the class, but and this is going to be the pump. Little pump, but you know what? That's okay. It doesn't need to be a huge pump because we're not moving a whole ton of water here. This is a 6.8 gallon aquarium. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to help you out here because I'm a good guy and I try to help you out. I'm going to put however many liters that is right here. I don't know what that is off the top of my head because I've never measured anything in liters. And then we have this little guy here. So I like figuring things out on my own. It's just the way I do things. So this is going to stick through the back of that tank like that. And then this is going to attach into the pump. Here, see? Again, instructions, whatever. This pump is 40 gallons per hour. And when you consider there's not very much lift here or anything like that, this is going to sit down towards the bottom of the tank. That's way more than you would need. It's not going to be exactly 40 gallons per hour. That'd be blowing your fish all over the place. It's not that strong of a pump, but it's strong enough to handle this tank. So I think it's perfectly fine. This is going to stick through the back wall of this, which I will show you, and then it's going to connect just like that. It's super easy. Anybody can set this up. I can tell already just by looking at it. So let me put all this stuff away And then I'll grab a camera and I'll show you exactly how all this works. We'll put it together, and then we'll decorate it and do all that. This should be fun doing it this way. I'm going to turn the camera around. You don't need to see me at the same time. Let me show you how this thing works. So you have the back here. This is the back of the tank. Of course, you would not see this once you have it set up. Your small pump, this is going to be fun to do this one-handed. So let me just show you first of all. Oh, this is not easy. I am a professional, folks. So the water is going to enter here. There's some slots there. There you go. You can see them. So the water will enter there. You can see there is a gap here. See that gap? It's not huge, but it's about a 1/4 of an inch gap. So the water is going to come in here. It's going to fill up. It's going to dump over that and go through this sponge. And you can see there's a space here. So the water is going to go through the sponge. It's forced through the sponge. Then it'll fill up in this cartridge. Well, that's the cartridge. See, that's what we were talking about before. That is your, this one is the carbon one. And I did not get it in the slot, but show you that. You can see the little slots here for that. So once that's in there, so the water is going to fill up here. It's forced to go through that cartridge, which will then fill this bay up. It will then overflow into here, and this is where the small pump is going to go. You see this hole here. That hole, hit the camera with your hand, John, professional. That hole is going to be for that. Now, I just realized something that I kind of did a little wrong here. And again, only having one hand. I'm going to try to go as few edits as possible on here. So what we do, this is not easy to do with one hand. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to keep complaining about it. I'm making the sacrifice here for you. I don't know if it's something that I'm doing wrong. I don't think it is. I think this needs to be this way. I'm going to put this in using both hands so that I don't look like an idiot more than I already do. And then I can show it to you once it is completely installed. Because you just can't do this with one hand. It's impossible to do. In fact, it's kind of impossible to do with two hands. I'm going to grab something here. The trusty back scratcher. You have to have one of these when you're my age. So let me see if I can show you this on camera here. I'm just going to stick this back down here. The reason why I'm doing it is to push that pump up against the glass there. There we go, because it has little suction cups on it. That's good. So we have that hose now that goes through that small hole, and then this is going to go on there. Of course, it's not going to go through because it's going to want to push through. Good idea doing this. Trying to do it one-handed, John. Okay. So there we go. So now this pump is in there. Easy enough. There is a small flow control on the bottom of that. It's just a little teeny slide bar kind of thing. I opened it wide open. Why wouldn't I? That's going to probably be the first little ding that I'm going to put on this thing, because once that's in there, it's really difficult to access the adjustment. But I mean, come on. Everybody's going to run it wide open anyway, aren't you? I mean, unless maybe you're keeping a very delicate beta in here or something that you don't want much flow. We'll see how the flow is. If it's something that needs to be adjusted, we'll adjust it. But I don't think we'll need to. So again, water comes in through here, fills up, forced through the sponge, goes down here, fills this container up, which forces it through that cartridge there. It will overflow into here. It's not going to make a bunch of noise, folks, unless the water gets really low. Then you might hear the noise, but as long as you have enough water in here, it's not going to be a huge problem. This is your sump. This is where the pump is, and this is where you can also install your heater, which is nice, keeps it out of the tank, and then the water will pump it through this little nozzle here, which is directional. You can turn it sideways, do all kinds of fun stuff with it. So that's cool. That's it pretty much. Now, as far as the light goes, it just slides down on the tank. I mean, how easy is that? Yeah, very simple. Lights are always easy. It's not like lights are complicated. So the light, you're just gonna plug it in, push the fancy little button, and away you go. All right, as far as the lid goes, again, super simple. At least I think so. I just gotta figure out here how these brackets go on. Maybe they go on the actual tank itself. So it comes with these 4 little brackets. Yep, you just lay them on the rim of the tank. Very simple. With the little ledge, let me show you on this one because it's closer up. There's a little ledge, and that ledge is what will support the lid. Simple. I'm going to tell you something I already like about this. I have another setup from Imagitarium. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. The little 15-gallon cubes, set one up a long time ago, the Manly tank. That one, if there's one complaint that I have about it, is that there's no way to feed the fish. And these lids are not exactly easy to take off because unless you want to put some kind of a handle on it or something, which I have done in the past, there's no way to really take it off to feed the fish. But this has a little cutout. Let me grab the camera. It has a small cutout on the corner, which I think is really, really cool. I mean, could fish jump out of that? I suppose. But, you know, if they're that desperate, there ain't a whole lot you can do about it. But that's cool because you can drop some pellets, drop some flakes in there. That is definitely something that's nice. And hopefully I wasn't screaming into the microphone too much there. I might have to adjust the audio levels. This is very simple. It was very easy to install. I did not have to open the instructions. You might need to though, and if you do, that's okay. I'm not gonna make fun of you. So what I'm gonna do is a quick little scape in here, because I'm not an aquascaper, but I'm gonna do one anyway. I will film it for you, and then once it's all set up, I'll fill it up with water, and then I'll give you my thoughts on whether I like this thing or I don't. I think it's a good chance I'm gonna like it. Okay, here we are. This was a lot of fun to do, very easy to set up. I've been doing this a long time, but you don't have to be someone that's been doing this for a long time to be able to set something like this up. I've seen enough of these systems and I've worked with these things enough to have been able to put it all together without opening the instructions, but it does come with very detailed instructions if you are brand new to this. If you get this tank, all you got to do is watch this video, but if you get something like this and it's intimidating for you, just read the instructions. It's not a big deal. I'm getting sweaty. I have to turn the air conditioning off, otherwise it's too loud out here. So I wipe my head with my Science Gal Aquatics towel. Thank you, Carrie. But again, this was a lot of fun to do. I know that the aquascape that's in here would make people like Jen Williams and George Farmer throw up in their mouth a little bit, but you know what? It was fun for me. I am not an aquascaper, and I just wanted to utilize a few of the products that we have on our website. It's one of the benefits, as I said in the voiceover, of being able to just walk downstairs to your fully stocked fish store and just take whatever you want. It's a perk. What do you want me to say? But this was a lot of fun to do. I want to go over the things that I like about this, and then there are a couple of things that I'm going to ding it for, things that I would like to have seen done differently, but you know, it is what it is. First of all, I'm going to go through the two things that I don't like about this because they are very minor and it just is what it is. The first is going to be what I talked about earlier when I was just opening this up, the fact that that little switch for the flow control on the pump is all the way down on the bottom. I don't know. You got to find something not to like, right? It's not a big deal. It's a set it and forget it kind of a thing, like Ron Popeil would say, but I have to find something. The switch is all the way on the bottom. If you do realize that your flow is up too high and you want to turn it down, you basically have to take this whole thing apart to get to it. Is it the end of the world or is it a deal breaker? Of course not. No, it's not. But I wanted to mention that, and that was something that I found right off the bat that I didn't like about it. The other thing is these lower inputs down here for the sump. I understand why they do this. All the manufacturers that have these all-in-one systems with the filtration on the back, they all do this. They put the returns really low, not the returns, but the inputs, the intakes for the filtration, they put them down really low. And I'm not a big fan of that because one thing I do know about aquascaping that every aquascaper would tell you is that to make the tank look bigger and to build depth in the tank, you need to kind of pile your aquascape up towards the back of the tank. You can't do that here because you would be covering up the overflows or whatever they're called. Who cares what they're called? The inputs. But I guess, and here we are, I'm sitting here telling you I've been doing this a long time, so I know all there is to know about these things. I suppose if you covered it up, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal because you have the ones on the top. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just, again, picking on something that I shouldn't pick on. A tiny tank like this can be made to look much larger if you do pile that substrate up in the back, making it like a mound in the back. It tricks the eye. I don't know. I'm not an aquascaper, but I know they all do that. Big tanks, small tanks, they always do that. And you really can't do that in this tank because of that. But maybe you can tell me in the comment section. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe you can just completely cover that up and it's not going to be that big of a deal. But I don't like that because then if you're using sand, it's all good. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Nitpicky, I know. And if you cover it up, it's not going to be the end of the world because you do have them up here. And I guess it's a benefit to have those down at the bottom if you're going to want to run this without a lid on it. If you're somebody that keeps betas, you're going to want to keep that water down because they will jump. And if you kept the water down a couple of inches, it wouldn't overflow into the top, but you still have the one on the bottom. So my guess is that's why it's there. But then again, what do I know? I do want to mention a third thing. I'm sorry. It's a third thing that I do have to mention as far as something that I don't like. And that is the way they have this foam, the triangle foams that I showed you earlier. You really got to dig down in there to get them out. And you just basically have to stick your two fingers down in there and pinch it to pull it out. It's kind of a hassle. I suppose you could use some needle nose pliers or some tweezers or something, but again, nitpicky. It's something you're rarely going to have to do. I mean, this is a small tank. You're going to have a couple of tiny fish in here or some shrimp or something like that in here. You're not going to be having to pull those sponges out every other day. It's something that can go months between needing to do that. So again, is it something that would make me say, no, I wouldn't buy that thing. That thing is junk because of the stupid sponges? No, absolutely not. It's kind of part of the design. It is what it is. I would rather it be difficult than for them to not be there at all. But I just kind of feel like there's got to be something. And if I were Petco, who is, you know, this is their brand, I would probably incorporate some type of a plastic frame like they've done on the cartridges that surrounds that sponge so you can reach down in there. There's a little tab on it and you can pull that out. That's what I would do. And guess what, Petco, if you did that, you would have people would have to buy those again, and so you make more money that way. Then you avoid people making their own sponges, which is what I would do. And I would just stick my fingers down in there. But anyway, so those are the only things that I dislike about it. What I like about it, first of all, it's a teeny tiny pump in there, so you kind of expect this, but this unit is silent. And if you know anything about me, you know I do not like loud aquariums. But this thing is dead quiet. So if you're a lawyer and you need an absolutely dead nut silent office so that you can focus on your lawyering stuff, this is not going to bother you at all. It's as quiet as nothing. So I like that about it. I like how easy it is to set up. I like things that are easy to set up because I like helping new fish keepers. If this is going to be something that's going to be easy for somebody to enter into this hobby and enjoy themselves in this hobby, I'm a fan. And this is definitely one of those things. It's not complicated at all. When you look at the filtration system, you might look at it and be like, oh, but it's really not all that complicated. And all you got to do is fill it up with water and let it do its thing. You don't need to be paying attention to what's going on back here. Very easy to install, very easy to set up, very quiet. It's a nice looking setup too. What's not to like about this thing? Other than the little nitpicks that I put out there, there's really nothing to dislike about this thing. I also like that there's the little cutout. Kind of wish there was maybe some kind of a handle on there. I'm old school. I like those handles. I don't know. That's another nitpick thing there, but I do like that it has the cutout there for this. My other tank that I was talking about earlier, when I'm going to feed Scott, who's in there, I just basically drop it down into this crack, and eventually stuff starts to build up on here, and it is a thing, but rather than taking the lid off, that's what I like to do, because taking this off, you only have to have this lid on for 10 minutes, and condensation starts to build up on the lid. So when you take it off, you dump water everywhere. So it'd be better not to have to remove it. I like the fact that they got the little notch there for feeding the fish. I think that's brilliant. If you're worried about fish jumping out of there, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like I said earlier, if your fish is going to jump through that little hole there, they are awfully desperate, and they were probably not happy to begin with. You probably weren't doing your job. The light is very cool. It is your standard one push gets full-blown whites and blues. Another push puts it into night mode. I never, ever use that, but it's there, and then the second touch will turn it off. Very simple to use, easy. It's wobbly a little bit, but you know what? How much are you going to be messing with it? I like when lights are on little brackets like this because they're up out of the way. If you do need to take the lid off, it's very simple. You just pull it off, and there's no hassle to it at all. So anyway, overall, I do like this thing. I do. I paid my own money for this, and I like it. If you are someone that is like me, and when you're thinking about buying something, you go on YouTube and you watch a bunch of people that you don't know talk about that product before you make your decision to buy it. If you're watching this for that purpose, I recommend this product. I think it's nice. I think it's good. And for all of the people that are going to put in the comment section, you can't give an honest review of a product that you just set up, my answer to that, or my response to that, is I just did. I've messed with these systems enough where I can look at it and I can tell if it's a good product or not. And this is good. It is. I mean, it's not overly expensive. Like I said, it was like $80 with tax, and you get everything that you need. You don't get all of the decorations that you can order from my website if you would be so kind, but or you can buy it from anywhere. I mean, the decorations are not overly expensive. I think all of the decorations that are in here would have ended up being like maybe $30. The most expensive thing being that piece of wood in the center. The two little pieces of driftwood, they are dirt cheap, and all the plants are just a couple dollars a piece. They're really not that big of a deal. So for around $100, you get this whole thing set up with the decorations and everything in there. I definitely think it's a good setup. It is a little bit more fancy and a little bit more high-end looking than some of the kits that are cheaper but come with the filter on the back, and they come with the, all of the other things. This is going to be something that's maybe would be suitable in a lawyer's office or in an executive's office or something like that. Something like this sitting on their desk would look perfectly fine, where some of those other kits, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? This is a nice looking kit. It gives the appearance of being so much more high end. And really, if I'm being honest, it is more high end than some of those other ones. So yeah, I am a fan. Imagitarium, hopefully I'm saying your name right. You did a good job on this one. This is good. I like it. Not being paid to say that, it makes me no difference whatsoever. If you go and buy one of these from PetSmart, or excuse me, Petco, they don't have them at PetSmart. This is exclusive to PetSmart. PetSmart's, I just did that. This is why you edit videos, John. This is exclusive to Petco. I think PetSmart's brand is Top Fin. Am I correct there? And then Walmart is something else. I don't know. But Imagitarium is exclusive to Petco. So go down to your local Petco and get you one of these. They're nice. I like it. I'm a fan. And I hope my sister loves it. Hope I've helped you make your decision whether or not you want to buy one of these. I think it's a go. It's a go. Just do it. Just get it. It'll be a lot of fun. If you are brand new to fish keeping, it's not going to be so advanced and hardcore that you're not going to be able to figure it out. It's not. It's easy. Read the instructions. That's all you got to do. You will enjoy this thing. It's very nice. And when you're ready for a fish for it, you go to keepfishkeeping.com and you order a beta from us, because this is a perfect tank for one of those. 6.8 gallons. Can't go wrong. Plenty of water for a beta. So there you go. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy. Anyway, I am running my mouth too much. I'm going to take a little bit of the water out of this. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to take it into my kitchen where it's going to live for a little bit until I can take it to my sister. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am sweaty. I need to turn the air conditioning back on. Until I see you again, take care.